Hey guys, welcome to MNMM PT NAATI YouTube channel. Today's video is one of the most important videos I would say because I'll be covering a full course session for your listening section. So if you have any concerns related to your listening section, it should be answered today because I will start from the very first topic till the very last topic. So do stick to the video, watch the entire video so that you have a complete understanding of what your listening section looks like. What should you do so that you get a very good listening score? What should you not do? What you should study, what you should not study, so that you get your desired score with the less amount of hard work, I would say. To start with, there are 8 different topics in your listening section, and out of 8, I would recommend you to study 4 topics very well and the other 4 not to prepare them very well because they are not important. And even if your desired score is 8 each, which is the highest number of score that people aim for, still you only need to prepare 4 topics out of 8 so that you save your time and you get a very good score. Let us understand today what are those 4 topics and the other 4 topics as well, which are not important, but what should you do in exam? You should know that as well. So let us see what should you do. So first question is summarize spoken text. This is a very important topic for your listening and writing section because over here you listen to an audio and then you have to type the summary. That is the reason the scores will go to both listening and writing section. You can expect 1 to 2 questions in exam. Earlier it was more number of questions, but now it has changed. It's only 1 to 2 and it gives 5 to 10 marks out of 90 to your listening and 5 to 10 marks out of 90 to your writing, depending upon the number of question. So let's say if you get 2 questions in exam, you can expect 10 out of 90 for listening and 10 out of 90 for writing, which is a good amount of score. Hence, you should prepare this topic very well. Now, what are the things that you need to keep in mind for summarized spoken text? First things first, the audio that is played will be played for you once only. So the audio that you listen to can be anything between 30 seconds to 90 seconds. If you're very lucky, you'll get a very long audio. If you're not that lucky, you might get something around 30-45 seconds, which means you need to practice a lot of questions and prefer practicing questions which have smaller audios. If a question has an audio of 90 seconds, don't practice such audios a lot because if you can manage taking good notes in shorter audios, I'm pretty sure you will manage to take good notes in the longer audios as well. All right. Now, as I said, the first thing is that they will play an audio for you, which will be played once only. So your job is to take 4 meaningful phrases or sentences from the audio. You cannot create your own content. You cannot just write down whatever you feel like. It has to be something from the audio only. You have to write 4 sentences. It can be a phrase as well. Doesn't necessarily need to be very long. It can be any length, but whatever you write should be grammatically correct. The spellings need to be correct, and whatever you write should make sense as well. If you write down something that doesn't make sense or you just write down the keywords, that is not going to give you a very good score, especially if you're aiming for 7 each or 8 each. If you are aiming for 6 each, it is okay if you compromise a little bit on the notes and if you don't take all the meaningful phrases or sentences and take a few, 1 or 2. But if you are aiming for 7 each or above, I would definitely recommend you to take 4 meaningful phrases or sentences from the audio. Now, phrase means a group of words and sentence is obviously something that is complete. So let's say a sentence is extremely long and you feel that this is a very long sentence. I cannot write down everything. That's fine. Write down half of it. Write down 1/3 of the sentence. But make sure whatever you write makes sense. If you write notes that make sense and you use the template that we will share with you, you will definitely get a very good score in your summarized spoken text. So let us understand how your screen looks like and how to tackle this topic. All right. So this is how your screen will look like. This is the place where you can see in what time the audio will start. This is the place you type your summary. All right. After you are done, you can click next and move on to the next question. you get 10 minutes per question, which includes the audio time, which means roughly after the audio ends, you have 8 to 8.5 minutes to finish typing your summary, to check your summary whether you have made grammatical errors or spelling errors or any other error, to correct it and then move on to the next question. All right. Now, read this thing very carefully so that you know how much time do you have and what is the word limit that you need to follow. So the word limit that you need to follow for summarized spoken text is 50 to 70 words. However, we would recommend you to write down anything between 60 to 69 words. That will give you a very good score. So please stick to 60 to 69, anything between that. All right. Now, let us come to the most important part of summarized spoken text that most of the students they find challenging, and that is to take 4 meaningful phrases or sentences. All right. Now, whenever I have to take notes, the first thing I will do is I'll make a cross like this and 4 quick bullet points in my notebook, obviously, because I'll be taking notes in my notebook in exam or while practicing. Over here, I'm just trying to show you. So I'll be doing it on my screen. Now, the reason I've made this cross and 4 bullet points is you have a very clear visual of what you need to do. When you're writing a phrase or a sentence, your brain exactly knows how much more do you need to write. All right. So 4, that's it. Now, we will play an audio and write down 4 phrases or sentences, and then I will show you how to write down the summary. Let us do that.
My research was conducted to consider teacher attitudes towards the implementation of national testing of students in literacy and numeracy in years 3, 5, 7, and 9. The research was qualitative in nature and involved interviewing classroom teachers in the field post during the first and second administration of national testing. One of the objectives of the research was to see if there was a nexus between teacher attitudes and students' performance scores. The research found that student scores were correlated with teacher attitudes. There was a greater link between students' prior achievements, school economic resources, and students' socioeconomic backgrounds, with the final of these having the most sizable impact on student performance. I anticipate that the research team will reconduct this work again during the next testing cycle to confirm these findings.
So my audio is done. I have taken my 4 phrases or sentences. All right. Now, if you have noticed, obviously my handwriting won't be very good because I have taken notes. I have to be quick, but I will read it out for you so that you're familiar with what I have written. But I have not written a single word on my own. Whatever I have written in my notes is from my audio. That is your step number 1. Now, one more thing that I like to share with all my students is, whenever I am writing a particular phrase or a sentence from the audio, I will wait for my writing to finish, and then when I know that I'm almost done with my first phrase, that's when my ears go back to the audio, and whatever is being played at that point in the audio, I start writing it down. If I write something and I'm listening to the audio at the same point, which means I'm doing listening and writing at the same time, that is not going to give you a good note. You will get confused because you're writing, you're focusing on writing a sentence, and then you're focusing on the audio, listening another sentence. That's a lot of, I would say, confusion, cross-wiring, not good. Focus on writing the sentence that you have heard. When you almost finish it, take your ears back to the audio, listen to whatever makes sense to you, start writing it down. Take it one after the other, and that will easily give you 4 meaningful phrases. Okay. Now let us read. First one says, research conducted for teaching attitude or teacher attitude, makes sense. Second, literacy and numeracy in year 3, 5 and 9 makes sense. One of the objective is to see teachers' attitude, makes sense. There was a greater link, makes sense. So some of you might think this is not a very good note, or it's not very exciting to see, such small phrases, but trust me, in Pearson at PTE, this note taking, which makes a little bit sense, will give you your full score for your summarized spoken text. All right. Now, how to write it down in the form of a summary? If you have a look at the template, it has 4 sentences. All right. We will write it down as 1 paragraph, not 4 bullet points. your summary has to be one paragraph only, one paragraph of 4 sentences, which means after every sentence you will put a full stop and the next sentence you will start writing from the same line without clicking enter and moving to the next line. All right. Now, the first sentence, let us look at the template. The lecture is primarily focusing on, and then I write down the first sentence of my notes. So my first sentence would be, the lecture is primarily focusing on research conducted for teachers' attitude. The first sentence is done. Full stop. Continue writing in the same line. In addition to this, the lecture also highlighted about literacy and numeracy in year 3, 5 and 9. Done. Full stop. Continue writing in the same line. Third sentence. There is also emphasis about one of the objectives is to see teacher's attitude. Full stop. Continue writing in the same line. In conclusion, the lecture described that there was a greater link. Full stop. Your summary is completed. So I will use 4 sentences from my template so that I can balance my word limit and I have a context to write down my summary. So every sentence I will use my note taking and template combination of both. That's why I took 4 meaningful phrases or sentences so that I can fit it in my 4 sentence template. All right. This is how you write down, you type your summary. After you finish your typing, make sure you read your summary to check if there is any grammatical error, to check if you have missed any full stop or any spelling error. If your summary looks perfect, move on to the next question. This is how you tackle summarize spoken text. All right. And this is a very important question, so please practice it a lot. This is one of those 4 questions that you need to pay attention to. All right. Next question that I want to discuss is multiple choice questions multiple. Now, I will not play an audio for this question. I will tell you why, and I will also tell you what you need to do in exam. All right. This is how your question will look like. If I fit it in on your screen, this is how your question will look like. So they will play an audio for you. No matter the question is important or not important, you cannot skip the audio. You have to listen to the audio. That is part of your listening exam. All right. Now, the question says you need to select more than one response. That is why we call it multiple choice question, multiple answer. All right. So there is a question, there are few options, and they will play an audio. You have to listen to the audio and identify which options can be the correct options for your question. Now, you can expect 1 to 2 questions in exam for your multiple choice question, multiple answer, and the weightage is 0 marks. Now you will think, why would they put a question with 0 marks weightage? The reason is these questions are called trap questions. Trap. They are there to waste your time. Pearson wants you to think, use your brain, waste your time so that by the time you come to the last question, which is right from dictation, you are short of time. So what I would recommend is don't prepare it, don't waste your time in thinking about it. Just select any one option and move on to the next question, clicking next at the end of the audio, because you cannot skip the audio. So you have to listen to the audio no matter what. So when you're listening to the audio, just relax, don't take any notes. It's something that you just need to pass your time for a few seconds, I would say. Mark any one of the option, whichever you like when the audio is being played, and then move on to the next question. It's absolutely 0 marks weightage. So whether you select the wrong answer or whether you select the right answer, it has no impact on your scores. You still get a 0. So don't stress about MCQ single and MCQ multiple both. Now let us move on to the next question. The next question is my favorite question from listening section, and that is fill in the blanks listening. I just love this topic. It's a very straightforward topic, requires a minimum amount of practice. I won't say no practice, you still need to practice this because it's an important question. So this falls into the category of 4 questions that you need to prepare and are important. And this will give you score in your listening and writing because you will be listening to an audio, and the blanks that you see on your screen, if I just enlarge this vision for you. These blanks that you see on your screen, the answers will be in the audio that you will be listening to. So hence your listening and writing skill is getting tested. So you have to make sure that the answer you write has correct spelling, and also you take care of the capital letter if it's a name or if it's a first word of a sentence. So these small little things, if you take care of, you get a good writing score. And obviously if you write down the correct answer, you get a very good listening score as well. You can expect 2 to 3 questions of fill in the blanks listening in your exam, and you can expect anything between 10 to 15 out of 90 for your listening. Similarly, 10 to 15 out of 90 for your writing. Obviously, depending upon the number of questions you have, if it's 10, it's 10 out of 90. If it's 2, it's 10 out of 90, and if it's 3, it's 15 out of 90. So which means roughly one question is 5 marks listening and 5 marks writing on an average, because depends upon the number of blanks you have. One blank is normally 1 mark, so they will keep a balance of number of blanks in 2 to 3 questions that they ask you. In short, what I'm trying to say is this is an important question. You should practice it, and the reason I would practice this question is because it doesn't take a lot of hard work and it gives you a very good score. So it's a good balance, I would say. So you will be listening to an audio. What you should be doing is first write down all the answers in your notebook. Once you are done with that, once the audio stops playing, try to type all the answers and finish that typing in 30 to 35 seconds for one question. One question means this is one question with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blanks, because you can expect 5 to 7 blanks in one question. Okay. So now let us play an audio. I will straight away write down the answer on the screen. But if you are practicing this audio or this video, YouTube video, prefer writing it in your notebook rather than typing it straight away. All right, let us play this audio.
Thanks for making the time to come and see me. As you know, there are a couple of things I think we need to discuss about your progress in the course.
Yes, I know. I'm glad you could make the time.
Not a problem. It's really part of my job to make sure everyone enrolled in the course is getting as much out of it as they can. If we just look at this spreadsheet which outlines your assessment results so far, you can see that while your grades were initially fine, certainly in the average for the year group as a whole, towards the end of semester 1, they've started to drop off a bit.
Yes, I see. I must admit that I had to take a fortnight off just after mid-semester break, and I really felt that the work I missed in those 2 lab sessions had made it really hard for me to understand some of the underlying material required for the rest of the course.
Well, thanks for being so honest, Angelina. I think we're going to have to think about putting some strategies in place, so that by the end of year assessments, you're going to have a fair chance of passing.
Well, yeah, thanks, Professor Smith. I couldn't agree more, but I must admit I'm at the point where I don't really know where to start to get on top of this.
So my audio is done. Now I have written my answers in the notebook. I'm talking about the time when you practice or give exam. After I've written my answers in the notebook, the next step is start typing the answers on your computer screen, and make sure that the spellings are correct, capital letter is taken care, and one blank is one word only. And if the answer is any word or anything that you can write using a symbol, for example, if the answer is dollar, don't write the answer like this using the dollar sign on the keyboard. Or if the answer is percentage, don't write percentage like this using a symbol from keyboard. Always write answer using spellings. So if my answer is 30, I'll write THIRTY, or if my answer is percent, I would write PERCENT. Spellings only. All right, so please take care of this. You'll get a very good score if you follow this in your exam. Okay. Another thing that you need to be very careful when you do fill in the blanks listening is pay attention to the audio very carefully, because sometimes you might get confused if the answer was singular or plural, or whether it was present tense or past tense. For example, over here, enrolled was the answer, past tense. If you write enroll, ENROL, present tense, you will not get your score. Similarly, strategies, plural was the answer. If you write down strategy, which is singular, you don't get your good score. So make sure you pay attention to the audio, you listen to it very carefully, and then write down the required answer. All right, let's move on to the next question. The next topic is highlight correct summary. Now we will discuss this topic in short, what needs to be done, but this is again one of those topics that are not important and you should not pay a lot of attention to this. In exam you can expect 1 to 2 questions, and which means you can expect 1 to 2 marks in listening and 1 to 2 marks in reading. All right, reason because you're getting marks in listening is because you'll be listening to the audio to identify the correct answer, and then you have to read the 4 summaries that are written in front of you to identify which one is the right answer. Only one of the option is the right answer, the others are wrong, so you will select only one option. And the question itself, the name itself is very clear: highlight the correct summary. So when you read the 4 options, if one of them you feel is the correct one, you just need to put a tick on that option and that just gets highlighted. You move on to the next question by clicking next. So this is the gist of the topic, but let us understand how to get score, because let's say if you are someone like, no, I need 90 itself, even I'm not satisfied with 8 each, then prepare this topic. But even if you are preparing for 8 each, don't prepare this topic a lot, don't waste your time a lot, just select any one option and move on, I would say, because not worth it is something I would recommend, but that's completely your choice. Now let us say I decide to prepare this topic, then what is the easiest way to identify the right answer? First of all, we are identifying a summary, correct summary. So a summary can never have questions. Never have questions. A summary can never have examples. A summary will never mention that this person said something, and if it's there in double quotes, that okay, let's say Mohit said, double quote, where are you right now? A summary cannot have what a specific person said. So let's say said, or what a person said. So we will go with the strategy of elimination strategy. Elimination strategy is the name. Eliminating the wrong options is the quickest way to reach to the correct option. So let's say if I find any question, any example, or anything that a person said, I will straight away understand this is not my correct answer. I will not even look at it. I will not even try to read it. Let's see if we have any such things in this question. So the first one, the question double quote, why do students achieve so much? This can never be your answer. Double quote, someone said this, question, no. The remaining 3, I don't see any question, I don't see any examples or anything that anyone said. So my answer is definitely from last 3. So it becomes a little easy for me. Earlier I had 4 options, now I know my answer is from second, third or fourth. So I will listen to the audio and I will just write down some important words from the audio, so that when I when I read my options, I know what the audio was talking about. So let us play the audio and write down only some important words from the audio.
The question, why do students achieve so much with one teacher and so little under the guidance of another teacher, is often asked. I believe, as a result of having done research in this area for some time, developing good classroom management is a determining factor. Respect is paramount. Students need to feel respected and, in turn, need to develop respect for the teacher. I've spoken to kids who delight in mucking up in class, and I've talked to their teachers. A common non-verbal cue they both tend to give is rolling their eyes. Oh, that class, the teacher recoils. Oh, him, the student groans. What's clear here is a lack of respect. And don't start to think as a teacher you'll be able to fake it. Students are quick to smell a rat. Teachers who are not able to respect their students are in the wrong game.
All right. So I've heard my audio, and even if I just think about it, the audio was constantly revolving around teachers giving respect to the students, students giving respect to the teachers. That was the gist of the audio. So let us read the options and see what can be eliminated and what can be my correct answer. So the second one is research indicates that students do better with some teachers than others as a result of good classroom management. A key features of this is respect. Students quickly ascertain whether a teacher has a real respect for them or not. This looks like a good option to me because I could not find anything in this option that was not mentioned in my audio. So let us keep it aside. Let us go to the third one. Research indicates that classroom management is a determining factor in students' achievement. Teachers will achieve best results from their students by learning to read non-verbal cues. Teachers will achieve best results by learning non-verbal cues. There was nothing mentioned about any non-verbal cue, teacher getting any results. Nah. So this is a straight away exaggeration of what I heard. I will only focus on what I heard in the audio, nothing else. If there is any extra piece of information given, that cannot be my right answer. Last option. Research indicates that students do better with some teachers than others as a result of good classroom management. Sounds good. This can be achieved through mutual respect and by teachers ensuring that students are playing the right games. Nah. There was nothing mentioned about students playing the right games. So till here I was very happy, but the last part is something that was not in my audio. Wrong answer. That means my correct answer is option number 2, because option number 2 only describes whatever was there in the audio. This is how you solve your highlight correct summary. Again, practice only if you feel you have mastered all the other topics, you are done with everything, and you still have a lot of time left. That's when you can practice your highlight correct summary. Let us move to the next question. The next question is MCQ single. Again, it is not at all important. You can expect 1 to 2 questions in exam and the weightage is straight away 0, same as MCQ multiple. So let's not waste time on this. You'll have an audio that will be played for you. Listen to the audio, just relax. There is no need to take any notes, no action required. Mark any one option and move on to the next question. Please do not waste a single second after the audio finishes. Move on to the next question. This is not going to give you anything. Okay, it's a 0 mark question. Let us move on to the next question now. The next topic is select missing word. All right. So this is how your screen will look like. There will be an audio that will be played for you once. And what you have to do is the last word of the audio or the last phrase of the audio will be replaced by a beep sound. That means when you listen to the beep sound, that means the audio finishes, the audio will stop, and you have to identify which amongst your option will be a perfect fit in place of that beep sound. That is your task. Again, 1 to 2 questions you can expect in exam, and the score will only go to listening section. No other section is getting any score, and the weightage is 1 to 2 out of 90 depending on number of question. If you get 1 question, you get 1 mark. If you get 2 questions, you get 2 marks. Mostly you get 1 question these days, so I would say 1 out of 90 is the real weightage. But obviously if you get 2 questions, it will be 2 out of 90. Now for select missing word, what you should do is always have a look at the sound bar, because as the audio progresses, the sound bar will also move ahead and it will progress. The moment it reaches to the half of that entire sound bar, that means the audio is at its half. From there you have to be a little more attentive, pay a very close attention to what's going on in the audio, because that will help you to get your right answer, the correct phrase or the correct word at the end of the sentence, which will be replaced by a beep sound. All right, let us play the audio.
As Asian culture becomes more popular in the United States, The ancient Chinese method of creating a harmonious environment, feng shui, is also gaining ground. Feng shui literally means wind and water. Its roots are 5,000 years old. Feng shui seeks to promote prosperity, good health, and general well-being by examining how energy, qi, flows through a particular room, house, building, or garden. Feng shui considers yin, feminine and passive energy, and yang, which is masculine and hot. It also looks at the 5 elements: water, fire, wood, metal, and earth, and the external environment. The points on the compass, with 8 separate directions, north, northeast, east, southeast, south, southwest, west, and northwest, are also in.
All right. So it was all discussing about Asian culture. So it was all related to each other. I don't feel the answer is irrelevant. It was all relevant to the Asian culture. I don't feel the answer is problematic. She was just describing Asian culture. I don't feel it was confusing because the entire audio was related to Asian culture and the culture, tradition, and all that. The answer can be anything amongst important and popular. Now, in this case, if you listen to the audio, at the end of the audio, what all things were mentioned? They mentioned about the directions like north, northeast, south, and southwest. Now, these directions, they cannot be popular. So, popular is not the right answer. But yes, these directions are important to understand their culture, and hence important is the correct answer. So this is how you can crack your select missing word very easily. All right, let's move on to the next question, which is highlight incorrect words. Now, this is an important question. You should practice this a lot. This will give you a very good score, and it is good in terms of weightage as well. Very easy, but don't underestimate the topic thinking it looks very easy. I don't need practice. Yes, you do need practice, and it's scoring. So if you practice, you'll get a very good score in exam. All right. Again, let us understand the gist of it. You can expect 2 to 3 questions in exam, and the weightage is 10 to 15 in listening out of 90, and 10 to 15 out of 90 for your reading. The reason you get score in listening is because you are listening to the audio, which will be played for you only once. You are listening to it to identify the incorrect word, and you are also reading the passage to identify the incorrect word, which means you're listening and reading, both the skills are getting tested. Hence you get score in listening and reading, and 10 to 15 out of 90 is a big number. So please practice this topic and put this topic in the category where 4 questions were important out of 8 in your listening section. All right. So simple question. Audio is getting played. You have the mouse with you. There is no need to take any notes. Move your mouse, move the cursor of the mouse parallel to the audio when it is being played on your paragraph. And the moment you find any incorrect word, click on it once. The word will go yellow in color, which means you have highlighted the incorrect word. If you have highlighted any word by mistake, click on the same word again and it will go normal so that you don't get a wrong score. Now, for one incorrect word, if you highlight the incorrect word, which means the answer, you get 1 mark for one word. If you miss the incorrect word, if you miss highlighting the answer, you get 0. However, if you highlight a word which was not the answer, which was not the incorrect word, you get -1. So please don't make random guesses in this question. Only highlight if you are sure that that was your answer. Okay, let us do one question and see what I'm trying to say. Right now, because it is my computer screen, I cannot click on it. I will underline the word, but obviously when you practice, you will use your mouse and you will click on the word once to make it yellow in color. Let us start.
French, on the other hand, is a highly centralised language, with the Parisian accent setting the standard for the world. If other French-speaking political entities had risen to rival France, the situation might be different. If, for instance, Quebec had remained a separate country, or if Haiti had been a larger country, then perhaps other French dialects might have become more accepted.
All right. So the first is this word. the second is this word, third is this word, and fourth is this word. The first word she said was, over here it's written gentrified, but I'm sure she said something else. Over here it's dissident, she said something else. Over here it's abilities, she said something else. And over here it's entity, she said something else. Now my job is not to remember what was the right answer or to write down the correct answer. That is not my job. My job is only to highlight the incorrect word. If I have been successful in highlighting all the incorrect words, my part is done. I'll get a full score. So over here I get 4 out of 4 if all 4 answers are correct. All right, so please practice this topic a lot. This looks very easy. It is not always easy, because they speak similar sounding words and you might get confused and you might miss your incorrect word. So it looks very straightforward. If you practice a lot, you will get a good score for this question. If you don't practice it, there is no guarantee you might be able to do good in your exam for this question. All right. And with that, let us come on to the last topic and the most important topic of your listening section, which is write from dictation. So for write from dictation, which has 3 to 4 questions in exam, it gives scores to 2 sections, listening and writing. Listening will get approximately 30 out of 90, and writing will get a little more, approximately anything between 35 to 40 out of 90. Let me just make it a bit cleaner for you. 35 to 40 out of 90. 30 marks is the minimum in listening and writing. Just imagine what is 30 marks. 1/3 of your listening writing exam is just from this one question. Please give this topic a lot of importance. Take it very seriously and practice a lot. The most important topic of your listening section. All right. What happens is they will play a sentence for you only once. The sentence can be anything between 7 to 14, maximum up to 15 words. And your job is to listen to that sentence, take notes in your notebook, and then write down the complete answer. Type the complete answer, the exact same answer in your computer screen, and then move on to the next question. What are the things you need to be careful of? You only write whatever they say. You don't put your extra content. You make sure that you put full stop if it is a sentence and question mark if it is a question at the end of the sentence. You have to make sure that the first word of the sentence starts from capital letter, and if there is any proper noun, any name, it should start from capital letter. You have to make sure that the spellings are correct. Please write these things down. You have to make sure that the spellings are correct. If there is a long pause after any word in the audio, only then you put a comma. Please don't put comma because you feel there should be a comma. Only put the comma if you realize that there is a long pause after a word in the audio. If you don't feel there was a pause, don't put the comma. Okay? Prefer writing spellings. Okay? For example, if there is a number or any symbol, let's say $30, prefer writing $30 like this. If you write spellings, you get a very good score. So please write spellings and not symbols or numbers. All right. Now, let us play an audio and take notes and type. Obviously, I will not type right now, but I'll write the complete answer on your screen. When you take notes, try to use a combination of initials and short forms. So for few words, you can use initials. That means the first letter of that word. And few words, write it in short to understand what can be that thing. That should be your step 2 because you're listening to the audio, you're writing the notes, and step 3 is to make sure that you type correctly. Step 1 is to listen to the audio very carefully and take notes using your initials and short form. Step 2 is to write down the complete answer in the notebook first. Never immediately start typing after listening to the audio and just taking notes. If you do that, you will forget what you have taken in your notes if it's an initial or a short form. First, after you are done with your initials and short form, first write down the complete answer in the notebook. After you have completely written the answer in the notebook, then start typing it in the computer, because you just have to look at your notebook, copy and type. Okay? Please keep these 3 steps in mind. Let us do that. So first I will take notes, which is my step 1. Then I will write down the complete answer in the notebook, which is screen in this case, step 2. And step 3 is typing, which I'm not doing, but you should be doing when you're doing, okay?
There was little available evidence to contradict his viewpoint.
There was little available evidence to contradict his viewpoint. Full stop. So this is my step 1, which is taking notes using initials. These are all initials and short forms or whatever, the full word. This is step 1. Step 2 is this, which is writing the complete answer, no short form, complete answer in the notebook. And step 3 is now type the same answer on your computer screen. Very important. This requires a lot of practice. If you practice this question a lot, it's worth it. You'll get a very good listening and a writing score. There was little available evidence to contradict his viewpoint. Make sure your spellings are correct. Please make sure if a word is plural, you write S. If a word is past tense, you write ED. Please make sure of all these things and you will smash your listening. I hope you enjoyed this video. As I said, there were 8 topics. Focus on summarize spoken text, highlight incorrect words, fill in the blanks listening, and write from dictation. If you feel you have mastered these 4 topics and no matter what question you get, you're going to do very well, then prepare highlight correct summary and select missing word. But definitely don't prepare MCQ single and multiple. Have a study plan. If you have any concerns or questions, feel free to comment in the comment section below. We will answer all your questions. We are available all the time on Instagram and Facebook Messenger. Just search for MNMM PT NAATI. If you are looking for PTE coaching or NAATI coaching or just one-on-one sessions, maybe 1 session, 2 sessions, you can always text us there and we will answer your queries and we will set up a time to see you. With that, I'll let you go and take care of yourself. Bye for now.